All right, I'm streaming again on this Azure Functions project. I think that I can share what I'm doing without too much interruption from having to deal with secrets or anything like that. So, if you were following along yesterday, what I was working on was ARM templates for uh, being able to deploy the infrastructure with this application along with the actual application code. That way, all of it can live inside a repo, and I can control the entire um, shape and every aspect of it through code. So infrastructure as code and code application in there, all through CI/CD pipelines. So um, you know, all that modern stuff that we do in IT. So when I left off, I had uh, to go away and kind of pre-populate some secrets and kind of prepare for what's going on here. And I think that I got this to a point now where it's it's something that I can at least show and not have to worry about the secrets. The thing that I ended up coming away with is I ended up doing some research on the uh, Azure Key Vaults um, being used for the references in the application settings, which is the way that I'm defining some of my application settings. And if I go to this um, documentation here, uh, they have some guidance in here for the Azure Resource Management deployment. And when I was looking at this and I was looking at the way that I was planning to deploy, it wouldn't mesh. Like I just wouldn't be able to do this in a way that made sense. So I I mulled over this last night. Um, had plenty of dreams about different ways of solving this problem. And then all day today I was thinking about it as well. So I spent some time making some changes to the way that I'm doing this based on their recommendations in here. And there's a couple of cool things. So I'm ready to start getting back to work on some actual ARM coding on here. So the one thing that I did is that I realized that what I really need is I really need to store all of my app settings and secrets. It's the only way that I can really do this in a way that makes sense because the app settings that are in secrets versus the ones that would be static, uh, they don't. There was no good way for me to architect the ARM template to work with them. There might be something that I just don't know how to do, but because I need to kind of iterate through an object to do it, there's just no good way to kind of mix them that way. So I decided they have to all live in the key vault, which is fine. But that did mean that I needed to make some changes and I needed to simplify some things. So first of all, the first thing that I definitely simplified was this setting. So now this is just a general setting and it has a key value pair uh, in here for secret name and app setting name. So this is the name that it has in Key Vault, and this is the name that it has in the app settings. And that's because Key Vault secret names can't all have the same uh, kind of format as a app setting name. So, like for example, this one's a good one. App Insights underscore instrumentation key underscores an invalid character for a secret name. So I kind of have to map the two. Now there's no values in here, which means that when you first deploy the application, you have to uh, deploy the key vault um, and then populate the secrets. So when you do your first deployment, it's going to fail because there's no secrets, there's no actual versions of the secrets available. And even if you did like do some of them, the startup's going to fail because you need to have some of the information off of there. So kind of like for the first deployment, you have to do some extra work, but after the fact, you could get that out. So it would be possible that if I wanted to spend time programming first deployments for this. I could, because basically you need to pull some information out of the things that were deployed, such as the key for the storage and the app insights instrumentation key, um, and some of those things, right? So those those you can't get till after they're deployed. And I couldn't find a good way of mixing between supplying this and generating it and all that kind of stuff without making a whole lot of weird exceptions. So for initial deployment, it's going to be kind of painful, but uh, that's going to be okay. The real thing is that after the initial deployment, you can manage the entire um, infrastructure of the application through ARM template. And so the setting thing, I had to basically change then how we take in the settings in the deployment JSON. So function, it's now like just these three: function name, location, and settings. So we have to go through and update some of the code in here, but you'll see that settings is basically being defined as a variable from the parameter. That's normal. Another thing that I discovered when I was testing this out a little bit is that the key vault name has a 24 character limit. So if I'm going to generate a key vault name with KV at the end, I need to check to see if it's greater than 22 characters. And if it is, return the first 22 characters as a part and then concatenate that with KV. Uh, so I think key vault names have to be globally unique as well. It'd probably be better if they took on the same kind of format as the storage name, and I'll consider that. But for now, I think that the key vault name is fine as it is. I removed the translation of parameters to variables that we removed. So there was a couple of other ones in there. You notice that I'm also took out if you were following along yesterday, I had access policies defined as a input parameter, and I was gonna do that. But reading the guidance on this, it would be really difficult for me to do that. So what I've decided is that when I need to make out-of-band changes to the key vault, I can, in the console, append or change the access policy so that my user account can access it to make changes. But all the rest of the time, I can leave just the application in there, and there's some documentation on how to make that MSI work. Um, so So now I'm at a point where I need to go through the resources and find pieces that are missing and investigate. So the the alert rules is fine. It's not going to be affected by this one. I don't think the app insights component is affected by it either. Server farms, yeah, so site identity. This is something that I need to look up. So this is one of the things that I was taking in. I was going to have to figure out how I do this. So there's some guidance in the documentation here. So I'm on the site, and identity type system assigned is all I need to set there. So I'm just going to copy that out of there, back to VS Code. Identity is going to be a type system assigned. Okay, so that's all I need to do there, and that will create a system assigned identity to this when it's deployed. And I've already got code in here, and we'll get to it later on this. I moved the order of the resources around because the dependencies kind of changed, and I kind of like the things that I like the resources to be ordered so that the ones that are dependent on are before the ones that depend on it. So that's some of the reordering that I did here. The yeah, so this one depends on the service on the server farm, and it's defined up here. Um, so I moved that up to the top. You have to create the server farm, you create the site, and you do that before you create the key vault. The key vault then depends on the site, so I've updated that here. So this access policies is from the documentation, so I copied this in, and the way to do this is to basically you reference the Microsoft Sites function name because that's the ID for it. Providers, Microsoft Managed Identities default, and then this thing here, and then ID, tenant ID, and principal ID. So that is apparently how you can get the managed identity out of there. So what this access policy is doing then is it's granting the managed identity that we create in here. So this piece here creates a managed identity that is then consumed here. So that's why I stopped taking in the access policies, because it'll be easier to just let it automatically generate this and manage it. And if I need to manage the key vault out of band, which is necessary, I can update the access policies in the portal, Azure portal, and give myself access to it, make the changes I need, and then when the next deployment goes through, then this will be good to go. I don't believe this needs to be enabled for deployment. I'm going to refer back to the Firefox documentation real quick. If I get down to the key vault, it doesn't. So they have the secrets as sub-resources. You can't do looping on child resources. You can only do them on top level. So we already had the secrets as top level resources, so that's fine. But we will have to update our looping strategy. But it doesn't look like I have to do anything with the deployment secrets. So it would be different if I'm actually injecting the secret into it, but you'll see down here how this is done, and we'll get to that later. So the key vault looks good now. It's got the right thing. It now depends on the site being created, and that's because we're using the MSI. So the storage account should actually be before all of this, but this is kind of weird. That's fine though. The because this actually gets reused, but it's fine. We can create it out of band. Like I said, so you have to use the storage account key, and you can get the keys off of the off of a storage account, and you have to use it in like 5 different app setting variables, which is kind of ridiculous, but um, that's just how the app settings work. So uh, it's fine because I don't have any way to actually reference that without doing some kind of weird magic. So I'm okay with not doing any kind of dependency for that, but it's good. I don't think the site. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I don't think the site resource depends on it. Let me just double check. Um, no, server farm doesn't. None of this actually is set to depend on the storage, even though that's not accurate. The site does, but it's fine. So the storage account didn't need any changes. It's pretty bare bones anyways. It's just creating a very basic storage account. So the key vaults, we're going to have to update this because if you remember, I was taking in a secrets uh, parameter and using that to do the names of this, but now they're kind of glommed together in the settings one. So I need to change my conditions here. So condition settings, change this down here. So if the condition of the settings is if its length is greater than 0, then we're going to do this. And then also down here for the count, we have to update this to settings. And this again is this is that workaround that I discussed yesterday where the count gets evaluated before the condition does. And if for whatever reason it sees that the length of the settings was 0, it would fail even though like you have a condition that says don't do it unless it's greater than 0. So what this does is if there's 0 settings, it returns 1 for the count, and then it doesn't run because the condition will get evaluated next and it'll see, hey, the condition is not met, so we're not going to actually deploy any resources there. But we need to update the name on these because it's no longer variable settings name, it's variable settings secret name. So in the settings here, they're basically, like I said, there's a secret name and an app setting name. So we need to reference the secret name when we're looping through it this time. And this key vault loop is actually important because we references it again later, the name for the copy. In the site config type, we actually depends on key vault secret loop. So that means that this config won't run until that loop completes. So that's good. That's the only change that we need to make in the key vault. It's still very basic. It's just going to, it's not going to actually store any secrets. It creates the secret container, so to speak. That's the name of the secret, and then you have to go in and update the value. It's possible to pass in values here, but I'm not doing that. So we're done with the key vault loop. So the next thing on here, and I think it's the last resource actually, is the config. And this is a huge, big, crazy thing here. But what I was doing was I was going to take in this app settings thing. What I need to do now is I need to actually remove this. And reason for that is that you can actually do a copy inside the properties section and create a loop here. And if I go back to Firefox and I look at the, so it is property iteration. So inside properties, you put a copy and then there's an input piece in there. Uh, yeah, so there's actually like multiple copies you can do. It looks like you can uh, iterate more than one array. In any case, that's fine. We're going to uh, do this. So this looks like it would be possible for me to separate out the static ones from that. I guess I should have read this a little sooner. So what that means is the secret ones I could put in here and take in the secrets and then do that. But I don't see any reason why they can't all live in the key vault. That's like awesome levels of security for the app settings. So that's pretty cool. I'll just leave that as is. So going back to VS Code. So in this copy, we need to do a name, account, and this is also an array instead of a object. It is an array, and in that we need an object. And that it needs a name, and this is settings loop. Let me see, make this a little bit more visible. App settings loop count. And this will be count. Just make sure that this is in the properties and not inside something else. Yeah, it's on the right level. Whatever, copy. This is fine. Count is going to be a calculation of length of variables settings. And the next thing we do is input. Trying to figure out how this works. It looks like it has to go inside of the app settings section instead of that. All right. That's fine. We'll do app settings copy. Did I somehow put in an extra thing? No, I put that at the end of the properties. Just got out of whack. Okay, so name, count, and then input. This is probably all wrong, but name is going to be variables, settings, copy index dot app setting name, and the value is going to be so I need to get this from the guidance on how this works. That's not it. So many open tabs. There we go. So the values on one of the ones that app settings, properties. Yeah, so it looks like this. So I need to basically steal this and then manipulate it. All right, so this is concatenating key vault secret URI and then the reference of variables, setting, copy index dot and that like screwed up some of this stuff. That's awesome. Secret name. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. It's complaining because it thinks that there needs to be a string in there. I'm like thinking that that's crazy. This might need to be name value. Let me look at the app settings documentation, which I should have open in one of these many. Okay, so it's going name and value. So let me use that instead of the way that I am doing it, which is fine. Name, value. hopefully that works. All right. So in theory, what this should do is set the app settings. It should loop through our uh, settings and get the settings app setting name. It's set as the name of the app setting, and then the value is a concatenation of this thing. This is how you get secrets from. This is how you reference secrets in an app setting, and gets the secret URI with version, which is important, and does that. So it's in theory that should be all we needed to change. I've got a lot of stuff here complaining about all kinds of things, strings. It starts all the way up here. I'm not even sure if I need to keep all of these settings or that they'll even work. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have to like sit here through a whole bunch of painful things. This does need to be closed off properly, so that's right. Make sure this one's done right too. Okay, so what I have done is I have prepared in the Azure portal, prepared my secrets, my key vault with the name that would be done, and I also prepared the resource group. So this should be the name of the key vault that it should do, and I've pre-populated some of the secrets in hopes that I can speed this up a little bit instead of having to stop streaming and start streaming over and over again. So I've got this to a point where I believe that I can use it. So I'm going to open up a new PowerShell here. I'm going to close out of this side-by-side view so that I can get some more screen real estate. And open up parameter files permanently in here, and then do a new one here, which is my PowerShell by default. I'll set the RG name equals its resource group, and we're gonna do new AZ. I can't remember which ones I have. Do I have the Azure RM or the AZ commandlets on this one? Let's see. View the terminal. Okay, I don't have either of them. Well, that's entertaining. They were definitely on here earlier. I was using them for sure. Let's try this. Awesome. I just saw Stoneboy7's message that to you. They got a Azure DevOps account for free. That's good. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people haven't seen or heard, I guess, that the Azure DevOps pipelines and all that stuff, it's free. There's like a free account that lets you do some stuff. And if you're familiar with GitHub and you're familiar with CIs like Travis CI, AppVeyor, or even Jenkins or anything like that, it's kind of like a combination of GitHub and a CI, and there's a lot of cool extensions. So fun stuff and pretty neat So there's some free hosted agents that come with it that include like Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So some choice operating systems there to work on. Great if you're doing any kind of cross-platform development or anything like that. So check that out. I This is not sponsored by Azure DevOps or anything like that, but I've really been extremely happy with my experience with it. Um, Even though I do, full disclosure, work for LinkedIn, which is a Microsoft company, um, I do not get paid to shill out Azure DevOps. I just really do like it. So what happened to my AC module? Let me just. That's really weird. Why are you taking so long, AZ module? At least it doesn't come back and like immediately failed or something like that. Come on, PowerShell, you were supposed to be the chosen one. Alright, let's try a clean session. Wow. What is it doing? Let me just do verbose, see if it's actually doing anything or if it's just like not version verbose. Okay. There we go. Just needed to like, I don't know, do it 40 times or something. So new AZ resource group deployment name. So I need to I think that's the right. Yeah. Space or colon with dash. Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of all of the things there. That'll work. Resource group name, RG name, mode, complete. I don't want to show secrets. Force. Template parameters file is copy the path of the file. template file, copy the path of the template file. And I really am expecting this to blow up on the first run. That's totally expected. Okay. I'm gonna try convert to. I love how this happens with the integrated console. Convert to splat, and tab completing on that is taking forever. Let's have some kind of module gunking up my my stuff there. Yeah. Hopefully this works. There we go. So this is a cool utility. The let's do. So this is in, what module is that in? Can't remember the name of the module. I want more people to use this module because it's awesome. That's really command module name. Yeah, it's in the editor services command suite module. Freaking awesome utility. It will take the current command run and turn it into a splat expression. So now I don't have to have like 4 million options on here. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it uses the command name instead of params, which is the way that I would recommend doing this. But other than that, it's great. So that should be all the things that I need on it. So I'm going to capture the results here on this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do out variable. And do that. All right, so this is definitely going to fail, but we're going to run it anyways. And even if I didn't have ARM issues, it would fail. So I guess what I could do before I do that is I could do test az resource group deployment, resource group name, rg name, mode, complete. Not comment. Template file. Actually, I can take the same parameters here and just remove force, I think, and change this to test results. Yeah, because I think all of the other stuff is the same here. So let me make sure I've got. I also don't think that I can do name. I don't think name is a thing that you do. Nope. So don't need that. So this one should be good enough. So, I didn't actually bring that in. All right. There we go. All right, bring on the red. All right, code. Invalid templates. Deployment template language expression evaluated failed. The template language function copy index has an invalid argument. The provided name blah 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 doesn't exist in the resource. Great. Can you give me some lines that this is on? It's like, I've got more than one usage of copy index, so that's going to be fun to go through. Is there a verbose on this? Like, can you give me more information about the line or something? Maybe. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I've got to look through this. Oh man, I'm not even on. Wasn't even on VS Code when I was running that. Oh, that's good. Fine. Anyways, who knows how long that I've been on the wrong screen there. Sigh. All right, so it's complaining that copy index is being given the wrong thing, so I need to basically find all the instances of copy index and find out what's going on. Okay, there's 3 instances of it, and I can't see any problem with this at all. This is awesome. Copy index. The template language function copy index has an invalid argument. Provide the copy name. Do I need to provide the copy name inside of it? Because that's weird. Let's, I didn't see that anywhere. This is... resource. Is copy index on here? Loop name. Okay. Well, I guess maybe I need to have the loop name in there. That's fine. Try to find the naming convention, sites, host name bindings, deploy multiples, iterate, property. Yeah, okay, so missed that. Needs to have the needs to have the copy index listed in there. That's fine. Simple fix here. I guess it's because there could be multiple ones in there. So we'll do that. All right, time to run this again and watch it, see what it blows up on now. Okay, the template resource, test Twitch stream notifications, Azure website for type, at line 49 column, it has incorrect segment lengths. A nested resource type must have an identical number of segments as its resource name. What? Okay. Um, that's a weird one. Uh, it's saying, that the hostname bindings has an incorrect segment length. The segment resource type must have an identical number of segments as its resource name. Root resource type must have segment length 1 greater than its resource name. It's really weird. Okay. It says it's on line 394, which is not right. Um, variables name, hostname binding, and variable site name. That's really weird. I don't know what it's complaining about there. Let me look this up. I don't know on this one. It's weird. Like site name. Does this need to be? I guess I need to look this up and see what goes in this kind of resource and hash it out from there. I mostly like took what was in the auto-generated one and just modified it to use variables, so it means that the auto-generated one's wrong. Which is not surprising. Site name, app service, app name. Yeah, I'm going to try just setting both of those to the site name. I thought that was a little weird the way that they had that in the auto-generated one to begin with, and I even said that maybe I would set these both to site name because I didn't see why it was doing what it was doing. It didn't make any sense to me, but we'll leave that. We'll change that to use the site name for both, and I get a different, no, same thing. A nested resource type must have an identical number of segments as its resource name. Root resource type must have a segment length 1 greater than its resource name. That should. Okay. So I had in here this hostname binding, and if I go up to hostname binding, look at it, it is site name Host name binding is site name Azure. Site name, what do I have as the site name? It's the function name. So they had it like, all right, so they had it something like this, like they had like variables function name. So they basically like concatenated this in front of it. So we'll see. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll try this now. Oh, this is fun. All right, let me look at the auto-generated resource. Oh, the heck. So we're gonna find host name binding. Yeah, so they had the okay. Name site's name. Okay, so there's some slash stuff here. Okay, that's what I missed. So this is Twitch stream notifications. So that's the site name. And so it's site name / binding name, which is that. Okay. So now that makes a little more sense. The format for the hosting binding is site name and then a slash and then that. All right. Hopefully that fixes the problem. We'll see. Probably not. It's not valid according to the validation procedure. Tracking ID. Okay. are you being crazy like this? Pre-flight validation check. Pre-flight validation check. Please refer to the details section. Account name invalid. It's not a valid storage account name. 3 and 24 characters. So I'm pretty sure 23 is between 3 and 24 characters. Oh, lowercase only. Oh, for crying out loud. All right. Storage vault name. I need to do lower storage to lower. All right. So it needs to be lowercase for the storage name. So that's good. And it looks like I can actually up this one, but we'll leave it as is. Run this again. Now that the storage account name only has lowercase characters in it, and the template is valid. Okay, so that doesn't mean the template's going to work, but it means that at least the things that are obviously wrong according to the API are fixed. Which I guess means something good. So now we should be able to actually do the deployment and watch it blow up for real. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the lowercase only is like, I get that, but since the storage account name is a host name part, I can't imagine why they couldn't accept something with casing in it, make it lowercase for whatever backend needs they have, because whatever front end things you're doing with it, they're always going to work with that casing. I don't really know. That's weird, but you would know more than I would, Michael. So maybe you've got some insight into why it's like that. But all right. So let's try deploying this bad boy. And I really so even if the thing is right, it's going to fail because the initial deployment of the application requires that you deploy everything that you can, then go back and update the key vault, and then deploy again. Yeah. Yeah, the name needs to contain a /. It needs to be a proper segment. So it does probably need some documentation help there. Let's see. See name. Yeah, so it doesn't even have like what's in there. So that I have to sign in to do this. What? I thought you didn't have to. Oh, whatever. That's not what I want at all. Is there not no edit for this one? No thing? That's weird. Interesting. Usually there's like a way to do this. I think maybe this one's still on the, maybe this one hasn't been moved over to the new doc stuff that's using GitHub for everything. Um, so thanks, appreciate it, Michael. All right, so just, oh, got a nice screen full of red here, which is what we expected, right? At least what I expected. Resource, alert rules, failure anomalies, failed, bad requests. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't need it. This was a like nice to have resource, like if I could make it work, but I don't even know what it's expecting in there, and I don't want to mess with it. It has some weird like base64 encoded JSON in it. I can figure this out later. It's not an issue that I need to care about now. So what else did we get wrong here? Key vault secrets. Bad request. An invalid value. What? You require a value? Now that's going to be a problem. If I have to submit a value with it, that means that it's going to overwrite. I definitely don't want values with my secrets. I just want to create the secret container. But I think that if the secret is not in existence, because I'm only seeing errors for secrets that are not already there in my thing. It's like Twitch stream storage, I haven't created that one yet. Website content, haven't created that one yet. Twitch subscription secret, that one should be there. This is going to be troublesome if I have to like supply the value inside the thing. It says that the value is optional on the documentation, and I assumed what that would do is just create the container definition for the parameters. Let's see, key vault's up here somewhere. It's like a million of these tabs. String functions, naming, sites, listing bindings, sites, key vaults. Yeah. Instances. Secrets, yeah. So the secret has value as required no. Do I have something left over from the original template? It's very possible. Enabled content type text plain. Invalid value for value. That's because I didn't provide a value at all. Like there's no value, and it's saying that that's an option that I don't have to supply. That's fun. A value string required no. Should I not supply a content type or an attribute either? So that could be it. Like, it could just be that I can't supply any properties if I'm not actually supplying a value, which should be made more clear. So let me try removing this and running the deployment again, see if it creates the secrets without anything. After parsing a value, expected character, line 206, position 12. What? I must have, still on the browser. I must have messed up something here. Copy. Condition. Oh. There we go. I had some invalid JSON there when I was cutting that out. I'll just run this real quick, validate it. Template's valid. Again, doesn't mean it works, but try. Exciting. Errors again. Yay. Let's see what we've got now. So properties is required, but none of the properties are required. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. So I need to add properties and leave it empty. Something tells me that this should really be picked up in the validation. Well, that's a good sign. Secrets might be creating now, and I was trying to be clever and look at the secrets in the console, but it's removed my access policy, so I can't actually look at the secrets. All right, what's it complaining about now? Bad request. Okay. Apparently, you can't create a secret without a value, even though it's documented as being optional. Um, if I bring up Firefox here, so this is the secrets documentation. Let me 2016-1001. Maybe this has something better in it. Um, so name, a type, an API version, and properties is required, but none of the actual properties are required. They're all set to no. Um, but if you don't supply them, then it complains specifically about the value. Uh, so that doesn't make any sense. Um, so that means that I have to reevaluate my uh, architecture. That means that the key vault has to live outside of the infrastructure as code. Has to be deployed separately, set up beforehand, managed as its own entity. And that's kind of a common thing anyways. I mean, usually you're not, usually if you're deploying a key vault with a application, you'd be doing some kind of like secret injection during the deployment phase, but I'm not going to do that because I've got a public facing repo for this and public facing builds and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to risk that, even though I have a high level of faith in Azure DevOps pipelines. So what that means is that we need to get rid of this secrets in here. Uh, we need to get rid of the secrets and the vault. So we're not going to deploy this anymore inside this resource group. So you config, expand storage accounts. Where's the secrets at? Oh, vault. Yeah. Get rid of the vault. We're not going to deploy that anymore. That no longer matters. It also means that we have to manually manage the identity access policy on the thing. That's very sad. Need to select the right characters. Yep. All right. So no more of that. So what I need to do is I need to deploy a key vault in a different resource group, and I have to deploy the site, which it already should be there. The managed service identity should already exist as well. So I should be able to uh, set up a key vault, set up all the secrets, and then run this again. So I do need to remove this key vault loop because that no longer exists in there. I need to remove the key vault dependency in here because we no longer have that. Sites looks fine. Farm looks fine. So I don't think any of that. I can get rid of this these two variables because they're not used anymore. I can get rid of this failures and anomaly thing because it's not used anymore. Tenant ID is not going to be used anymore. How is this still there? Oh, it's in that. Okay. So this should deploy, though it's going to be broken. The app settings will be there, but they're going to reference, actually it's going to fail because when it tries to reference the secrets, it'll fail. But yeah, so when I get down to the configuration here where I'm doing this, yeah, so accessing this secret name, I don't think that's going to work. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to pass in like the base URI for this and then get it, I think. We'll see. I'll have to think about that. Anyways, this will fail, pretty sure. App Insights instrumentation key is not valid. Yeah, I could not find template resource or resource copy with this name. Yeah. So I'll probably have to go back to manually configuring the app settings as a key value pair that has name and value and clean that up. So I can go ahead and kind of do this now. Yeah, so I can basically remove all of these secret name lines. Don't need those anymore. And I've got to cut the stream short because the fire alarms are going off in the building. So I got to go figure out what that's about. So I guess I'm at a decent stopping point anyways, because I've got to figure out how I'm going to restructure this. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back.